Hello and welcome to this Tales from the Hangar Aviation Rarities episode about the British aircraft B.A.IV Double Eagle. It was a mid-1930s six-seater utility aircraft and a total of 3 were built. I will start off with a bit of company background. In 1933 the British Clem Aeroplane Company was set up at Hamworth, Middlesex, England by Major E.F. Stephen. It was set up to produce a licensed version of the popular two-seat trainer, the German Clem L25. Their version was called the BK Swallow 1. And in 1935 the company changed its name to the British Aircraft Manufacturing Company. They continued to build the Swallow, and then they went on to build 135 on top of the estimated original 750 Clem L25s built. Then they also produced their own Georgia Hangar designed aircraft, and they were the Eagle, a 3-seat touring aircraft, and 43 were built. The Cupid, which was a scaled down Eagle designed for touring and training, but they only built 1, and of course the B.A.IV Double Eagle. The financially struggling company did manage to land a contract to build 9 Civerva C-40 Autogyros, but in the end the receiver was appointed in February 1938. The assets of British Aircraft were acquired by General Aviation to provide for that company's expansion, but no further work on BA's product line was undertaken. The B.A.IV Double Eagle was a 6-seat high-wing monoplane with retractable landing gear. The fuselage was wooden monocoque construction, incorporating aluminium alloy frames to which the wings were attached. The shoulder-mounted wings were a wooden 2-spar construction with a plywood covering, and the inner portions of which, out to the engine nacelles, had pronounced anhedral, effectively lowering the engine thrust line. And now some facts and figures. It had a crew of 1, a capacity of 5 passengers, a length of 29 feet 10 inches, that's 9.1 metres, a wingspan of 41 feet, and that's 12.5 metres, and its empty weight was 2,000 pounds or 907 kilograms. Its gross weight was 3,500 pounds or 1,588 kilograms. It was powered by 2 de Havilland Gipsy Majors of 130 horsepower each, or 2 de Havilland Gipsy Major 6s of 200 horsepower each, and that was on Golf Alpha Echo India November and possibly on Zulu Sierra Alpha India Yankee as well. Its maximum speed was 165 miles per hour or 265 kilometers per hour or 143 knots, and its cruising speed was 145 miles per hour or 232 kilometers per hour or 126 knots. The first aircraft, construction number 901 with registration Yankee 1, first flew at Hamworth on the 3rd of July 1936. It was shortly re-registered as Golf Alpha Delta Victor Victor, and it took part amazingly 7 days later in July's 1936 King's Cup Air Race, flown by W.L. Hope. It did however retire with oil or fuel systems trouble, and this was the first of many air races that 2 of the Double Eagles competed in. And in September 1937 it was the King's Cup again, but it did not start this time for some technical reason. But next year it did finish. It finished 5th, piloted by T.W. Morton. The aircraft then went on to be operated by Western Air Charter Company at Speke Airport, Liverpool, but this was until its C of A lapsed on December the 19th, 1939. Victor Victor was then impressed into RF service as Echo Sierra 949 on July the 31st, 1941, and was allocated to Armstrong Whitworth for communications work. It then went on to Parnell Aircraft Limited on the 20th of May 1943. This was until 1944, when it was withdrawn from use. The second aircraft, construction number 902, Golf Alpha Echo India November, was fitted with a more powerful 200 horsepower de Havilland Gipsy 6 engines. And in July 1936 it entered the King's Cup race, again, piloted by Flight Lieutenant J.B. Wilson, and it came 3rd out of 28. And another air race, on September the 29th, 1936, piloted by Tommy Rose with the help of Jack Bagshaw, took off in the Schlesinger race from Portsmouth to Johannesburg. But they had to retire when its undercarriage collapsed at Al Mazar Airfield in Cairo in Egypt. India November had another pop at the King's Cup Air Race in September 1937. It was piloted by HFJ Broadbent, but it had to force land near Portpatrick on day 2. On the 3rd of March 1939 this aircraft also ended up with Western Air Charter, but its C of A lapsed on April the 29th, 1940. It was then sold on May the 13th, 1941 without its engines to J.P. Hill Pendleton Salford Lancs, and then it was impressed into RF service as Echo Sierra 950 on July the 31st, 1941, but it was only used for instructional purposes. The third aircraft and the third of the 3 built, construction number 903, Zulu Sierra Alpha India Yankee, was sold to the Aircraft Operating Company in South Africa as an aerial surveying aircraft. It was then re-registered as Zulu Sierra Alpha Oscar Charlie. In March 1940, it was impressed into service with 60 Squadron of the South African Air Force as serial number 1415. And this aircraft had a redesigned nose, which I think made it look better. The Double Eagle appeared to be a capable aircraft, and it must have been, as it was racing 7 days after it first flew. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share or subscribe so you can keep up to date with future uploads. Leave a comment as feedback is always appreciated.